We are wanting to brief you today about what we are going to do for the rest of the month. It's going to be a very busy month for us. We have just come back from SADC. We will be going to FOCAC. We will also be going, I in particular will be going to Women Foreign Ministers meeting in Canada. Thereafter, we're going to be dealing with matters of UNGA. But we will be back to brief you on UNGA. Right now, what we want to concentrate on is the visit that we will be having, which is a state visit preceding FOCAC, state visit by our president to China. And he will thereafter co-chair FOCAC with the president of the People's Republic of China, President Xi Jinping. And yeah, those are the highlights of what we're going to do. However, I'd like to indicate that we attended, the president in particular, attended the inauguration of President Managua. We indicated the last time that we would await the outcome of the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court has declared its findings, and we would like to congratulate the people of Zimbabwe for having the transition into a peaceful new government led by President Mnangagwa, who was inaugurated on the 26th of August. We would also like to congratulate them for accepting the outcome of the decision of the Constitutional Court, and that the proceedings yesterday went very smoothly and were very dignified. The President, as I've indicated, will be undertaking a state visit to China. This is a reciprocal visit from the one that was given by the President of China just before BRICS. We had a state visit for 2 days before BRICS from the President of China. We will also be going to China on a state visit the day before the summit of FOCAC. And this is intended to be from the 3rd to the 4th, and it will be taking up on some of the issues that we will be dealing with. It will be the first forum on the China-Africa Cooperation Ministerial meeting, at least for me, with the purpose of aligning and strengthening social economic development. As you know, there's always a ministerial meeting before the heads of state meeting. The FOCAC membership has grown to 50 states that met first in Beijing from the 19th to the 20th of July 2012 at the request of the Chinese government, and thereafter issued the Beijing Declaration. Now we will be going, and there are more than 50 countries that will be part of the FOCAC meeting that we will be co-chairing. We have prepared for it. We prepared for it when we held the 6th Ministerial Conference of FOCAC from the 3rd to the 5th of December in 2015. And this was the second meeting that African continent had held in preparation for FOCAC. The outcome documents included the declaration of the Johannesburg Summit of the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation, and these will be given to you just to refresh your mind, and the China-Africa Cooperation Johannesburg Action Plan from 2016 to 2018. President of China, Xi Jinping, announced the upgrading of the Sino-African Strategic Partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership to be guided by the principle of sincerity, real results, affinity, and good faith. The announcement by the President Xi Jinping included new measures to be implemented between the years 2016 and 2018, aimed at addressing the 3 bottlenecks in Africa which are hampering Africa's development. To build on the China-Africa Comprehensive Strategic Cooperation Partnership, China committed to implement 10 cooperative plans with Africa, namely in the areas of industrialization. And industrialization, as you know, is uppermost on our agenda following our signing of the Africa Free Trade area at the AU, and also agricultural modernization, infrastructure, which we badly need in order to trade with African countries, financial services, green development, trade, investment facilitation, poverty reduction, public welfare, public health, people-to-people exchanges, and peace and security. To facilitate the implementation of these measures, China announced the provision of $60 billion for the funding of support of these programs that they would like to unroll. This includes a $5 billion for grants and with zero interest loans, and $35 billion for concessional loans and export credit, and $5 billion for technical and industrial project funding. Furthermore, an increase of $5 billion would be added to the China-Africa Development Fund and special loans for the development of Africa and China-Africa Fund for production capacity and cooperation, which will be provided with an initial contribution of $10 billion. The announcement by the President Xi Jinping included these 10 new measures, which I now enumerate. 1, commitment to political equality and mutual trust. This is a very important one. We are in this on equal basis and on the basis of mutual trust. Commitment to to promoting a win-win and economic cooperation between Africa and China. A commitment to mutually enriching cultural exchanges. A commitment to mutual assistance in security. Committed to solidarity and coordination in international affairs. The implementation of China-Africa Trade and Investment Facilitation Plan. The implementation of China-Africa Poverty Reduction Plan. The implementation of the Africa-China Public Health Plan, and the implementation of the Africa-China Cultural People-to-People Plan, and the implementation of the Africa-China Peace and Security Plan. So for each of those programs, there is a plan that has been worked out in line with what I have read out just now. These measures are aimed at addressing the 3 bottlenecks in Africa as identified by ourselves and themselves, which are hampering Africa's development, namely inadequate infrastructure. You're very familiar with this, lack of professional and skilled personnel for some of the programs that we would be undertaking, and a funding shortage for those things that we need to do to ensure that we have proper infrastructure and all of those things that will help us develop faster than we have been. That is the nub and the focal points that we will be discussing in FOCAC, and FOCAC will be co-chaired by ourselves and China. We go to the next matter that I wanted to discuss with you, which is the fact that tomorrow we are expecting the United Kingdom's Prime Minister on an official visit to South Africa, the first of her visits to us. She will be landing in Cape Town early in the morning. We're told the time will be 7 o'clock, so if any of you want to catch a picture of her, you'll have to sleep in Cape Town because there is no flight that will take you there before she lands. And she is on a working visit, primary investment, so wherever he goes, he makes sure that this is a matter that he deals with very extensively. At that particular meeting that the President met Prime Minister Theresa May and indicated that we might want to secure some investment from Britain or increased investment from Britain. He also extended an invitation to her. She has responded very swiftly, and tomorrow she'll be arriving with a business delegation, and the Minister of Trade and Industry will be looking after the delegation while we look after the Prime Minister. South Africa and the UK enjoy a very strong historic trading relationship, and the United Kingdom was South Africa's 6th largest trading partner in 2017 when we did our analysis, with a total of 79,000 rands. That can't be right.
79 billion.
79 billion rands trade and it is South Africa's 8th largest export partner for market goods for 2017. Prime Minister May will also use the working visit to hand over a bell that belongs to the SS Mendi. As you know, we South Africans are very passionate about the sinking of the Mendi, because most of the people that we sent out, most especially black people that we sent out to the war, sank in the SS Mendi, and all we have of that tragic incident is a bell, and we have been asking the British through the Defence Ministry if they would be so kind as to hand over the bell. It is the only significant matter that was salvaged out of the sinking of the Mendi. They have graciously agreed, and there will be a ceremony tomorrow with, where the Prime Minister will be handing over to our President the Mendi SS bell, and we hope that the Defence Force has a museum where this can be placed in a prominent place for those people who lost loved ones to have a regular pilgrimage to see the last remains of the Mendi. Fourthly, we've just come back from a SADC summit in Namibia. We were chair of SADC, as you know, and we had gone to the summit to hand over to Namibia. It was held in Windhoek, and coincidentally, Windhoek is the place where the first SADC protocol was signed 26 years ago. And also coincidentally, the only person there who was there was our President Cyril Ramaphosa, because he had gone to Namibia at the signing of this protocol as the Secretary General of the ANC. So it was almost like a full cycle for us, and we graciously handed over to the Republic of Namibia the chairpersonship of SADC and a report of what we've done during our term as SADC chair. During our term as SADC chair, we had taken time with the President to go and introduce ourselves to all the SADC heads of state. We concluded the last but one round of introductions when we visited Zambia and the DRC just before the SADC Summit. By the time we handed over to Namibia, we were quite satisfied that the work we'd put into SADC was a significant amount of work. We are left, in terms of SADC responsibility, with the responsibility of ensuring the security of Lesotho. We remain the facilitator of peace in Lesotho, and as you know, Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke is responsible for taking over the responsibility of the facilitator on behalf of the facilitator. Therefore, at this particular meeting, apart from handing over, we were required to report on our progress on Lesotho. And we have made significant strides in our interaction through Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke. He is a man that the Basotho respect very much for his shorthand language. He doesn't go around in circles. When he says something, he says it very straight, and the Basotho seem to enjoy the straight talk that he's famous for. They've also been following him throughout his time as chair of his Dimeni, so they welcomed his intervention, and they have been very supportive of our intervention there. We reported to SADC on the process that had been undertaken by him, and congratulated him for the work that he has been involved in. However, the day before we got to the summit, we realized that the opposition party left by former Deputy Prime Minister Mxolisi had written to all interested parties to say that they are withdrawing from the facilitation. We got to the conclusion that we as SADC had given Lesotho enough time to deal with this matter, and we would not tolerate any further delays. And therefore, we took a decision as SADC that we would urge all those who are involved in the resolution of the problem in Lesotho to ensure that at the end of November we have signed off on an agreement that would include all stakeholders, from the churches to civil society to all political parties. We further indicated to Lesotho that we have extended our security personnel, which is the SADC Preventative Mission in Lesotho, and we will no longer be extending that. So it comes to an end on in November 2018, and we shall not be extending. This for us is a signal to Lesotho that the problems of Lesotho are within resolution, and therefore we would like them to concentrate on that, and we will no longer be giving them the support of a SADC preventative mission, because we think that by that time they should have solved their problems. We further, as chairperson as facilitator, requested that SADC understands that we would like all those people who are required to solve the problems of Lesotho to attend to those. And any who does not come to the party and is not part of the dialogue, we are asking SADC states to take the necessary punitive steps that will get them to the negotiating table so we can put closure to this particular matter. There are other matters that you will get, because we will be distributing the document to yourselves. But I wanted to go straight to the matter that involves President Mbeki. It was very high up on the media, and President Mbeki has accepted the views of the DRC, and with grace, he will do whatever he's requested to do by our government. We also are involved in currently serving chair of the IORA. We're participating in a conference, and we will be handing over chairpersonship after the end of 2019. And at the moment, we've asked the Deputy Minister Lenders to represent us in the conference that will be held in Vietnam. Finally, it came to our attention sometime in the week that there was in the news a matter that involved the seizure by the South African government of a ship belonging to Russia, which was grounded, and its the owners arrested for contravening our laws. One of the reasons why I was late here is because I had to confirm this with the ambassador. The ambassador has provided with the ambassador of Russia. And we would wish to indicate that confirmation of news is a very important part of reporting truthfully. So we waited for him, and this is the response that he has given me. That the ship that was impounded is a private ship owned by a company called Transflot. It was transporting explosive for mining purposes for South Africa and various other countries, including Nigeria. They had the necessary permit to enter South Africa, but they did not have the necessary permit to transit through South Africa with the explosives because their handler did not have the necessary work done. They have since taken the decision to get another handler who will make sure that the permits allow them to go through to the next country. Now, the reason why these are called weapons of mass destruction is that the law by which we impounded these in South Africa is called weapons of mass destruction. Otherwise, these are weapons that are used for mining purposes, they're explosives, and because of their dual purposes, we needed to make sure that there was necessary permit for them to be exported further to another country. But we use them for civilian purposes. They were exported for civilian purposes, and they are used for mining. That, in short, is what we wanted to indicate. And then we come back to what I think you would have wanted me to start off with, Trump. We did not think that it was worth starting off with Trump. We have a whole lot of other matters that we needed to report on, very important for us and our development. But we did have an incident on Friday. Was it Friday?
When we met with the Shaji, it was Friday.
So it was on Thursday. There was Thursday evening. There was a tweet, as you know, that was circulated by the President of the United States. And the President of the United States was indicating that he's going to ask my counterpart to investigate this, and et cetera, et cetera. The story is very well known to you. I immediately asked my DG to get in touch with the Embassy of the United States, and as you know, we do not have an ambassador. Therefore, the matter was handled at the level of the Shaji Affairs and was handled by the DG, and he's ready to answer any questions about that interaction with his counterpart. In short, we indicated to the Shaji Affairs that what they had reported was unfortunate because it was based on information that had not been verified. We wished that they had verified the information. We would have very happily clarified that information. But we took the opportunity to clarify the situation. And that situation having been clarified, it was conveyed immediately by the Shaji Affairs to the United States, resulting in the response of the State Department, which reads as follows, I quote, "We are aware of these reports and we've been following this issue very closely for some time. South Africa is a strong democracy with resilient institutions, including a free press and an independent judiciary. South Africans are grappling with the difficult issue of land reform through an open process, including public hearings, broad-based consultations, and active civil society engagement. President Ramaphosa has pledged that the land reform process will follow the rule of law and its implementation will not adversely affect economic development, agricultural production, or food security," close quote. And therefore, I'd like to thank the DG and his team for making sure that that message was sent across as clearly as it is captured in the State Department's response later that evening when they were responding to this matter. I've since written to my counterpart to make to clarify the issues, and also inviting him that seeing as he has my phone number, next time it would be convenient perhaps if he called and clarified the matters. It would have saved us a great deal of ink and time as South Africans. We've also taken a decision as a department that we will not sit back while we allow certain pressure groups to go around the world spreading lies about South Africa. The issue of land redistribution is something that is in our constitution. It has been with us for the last 20-something years since the dawn of our democracy. The fact that it has taken us so long to get here is precisely because we wanted to be cautious and take everybody on board. The process that we are undertaking is one we believe is taken all the necessary caution and is going to be as inclusive as possible. It is led by the Portfolio Committee, which has gone round the country, ensuring that everybody's voice is captured, and it will be dealt with through a parliamentary process. This is very clear to all South Africans. However, there are some South Africans out there, either in Australia or going round to the capitals of the world, spreading untruths about what is happening in this country, and we use this opportunity to reach out to them to say they must desist from spreading untruths about this country. The process that we have taken has taken a long time. The people who suffer most awaiting us to get to this point are very impatient, and it is a very difficult matter that we have had to deal with, and this is the best way we could have dealt with. And we're very proud of the processes that have been accepted by all, and we will proceed peacefully